Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. First of all, I want to thank to iCAN the opportunity to present the Rare Commons project today, and also the opportunity to share this roundtable with very amazing people and very nice professionals. Dr. Jaume Mora, that is a colleague, a physician in our hospital, and Julian Isla, a father of Dravet Syndrome Foundation here in Spain. I will share with you the story. Yeah, I will share with you the story of a very special trip, a journey that millions of parents around the world are making or have traveled without tickets for free. Nobody asked to these families if they want to take this trip, but they know that they have a very clear destination: a healthy child. Sometimes when these families start this travel, the first picture that they have in front of them, it's a very long tunnel, and they can see the end. What are the stations of this travel? And what is the aim of the work that we done in our hospital? We try to create the treatment station, the care station, the quality of life station, and the cure station. But this is a long travel sometimes and not easy, because as you know, for the rare diseases, we have the problem that there are a very little number of patients in every hospital, in every county. What is the beginning of this travel? The beginning is the station with the name Thanks Avenue. First of all, I want to thank to Doctora Mercedes Serrano, it's a physician of Sant Joan de Déu, for the design of the methodology of research of this project, and also for his professional soul that impregnates the project and the way that we collaborate with the families, that it's a special and very close way of collaboration, because they know that behind the screen, because I'm going to speak later, behind the screen of Rare Commons, there are people working for them, and they know that all they need, they can ask, and we try to help them. Another person that I want to thank is Dr. Jaume Pérez Pallarols. Is the chief of research in our hospital and also the director of the innovation department. And I want to thank for trusting me for the coordination of this project, and also for the opportunity to coordinate the Kids Barcelona team. For me, it's a dream, this project, and also Rare Commons. And I want to thank Dr. Jaume Pérez this opportunity. Also, my colleague Joana Claverol, I don't know if she is in the room, probably is helping me working outside, but I want to thank to Joana for this reason. One, because she is helping for the international expansion of the project. For us, it's very important, because when you work on rare diseases, if you don't work at the international level, it's impossible to achieve an important sample of patients. Another important way that I want to thank to Joana is for belief in a new tool to recruit patients for the clinical trials of our hospital. Joana is the coordinator of the clinical trials unit, and we are working in a pilot design inside of Rare Commons to recruit patients for the new clinical trials about rare diseases. And last, for the amazing experience to coordinate together the project Kids Barcelona. This is the team of physicians that at this moment are involved in Rare Commons. They are the principal investigators of the different research lines that are ongoing. And also I want to thank the support and the team that we make together. And also the patients and the families. These are the soul of the project. Without families and patients, it's impossible to recruit clinical data and to increase the knowledge of the rare diseases that we are studying. Thanks to these families, because they work day by day, hand by hand, in a very complicated daily life, because sometimes they don't have the enough rest, the enough time to complete surveys and to collaborate with the project, but they finally find this timing. For us, it's a great challenge. I went to start this travel. As you can see on the screen, we have different stops. This is the boat roundabout. It's another station. The other was the Thanks station. And I want to arrive to this station making this question. What is the percentage of rare diseases that are caused by a genetic disorder? What do you think? We have 4 options. The first is 25, the second is 40, the third is 60, and the fourth is 80. What do you think? For the first option, how many do you think? Wow, only one. For the second, a little more. For the third, and for the fourth, the majority, yes. 80% of rare diseases are caused by a genetic disorder. What means this? This means that the main population that suffers this disease sometimes are the children. And the debut of the disease sometimes is at the same moment of the birth, or in the early months, or in the early years. This is a real psychological impact for the parents and for the families, and we need to take in account this and help to go ahead with this situation, because it's not only the medical things that we need to manage with the disease, also we need to manage the doubts, the questions, and the future of the patients, and for us it's very important in our methodology of research. Another thing that I want to comment to you, it's the time that sometimes the family needs to wait to achieve the diagnosis. There are many rare diseases that share symptoms together with other diseases, and sometimes it's not easy for the physicians to define the final diagnosis. And in Spain, the average of the time that families need to wait sometimes are between 3 to 5 years. This is more time, and if you don't have the psychological support, it's you perceive that it's more time more, and this is important to take in account. And last, and it's important to comment in this summit, is that this kind of disease sometimes don't have any therapeutic option. This means that the families don't know if finally, at the end of this tunnel, they can achieve a better quality of life than the present moment. When the families knows the diagnosis, the first thing that they do is go to internet, because as we used to comment, when we have any doubt, we put on Google the question, the topic, and we start to read. Internet is Alexandra Library. We can find many information, but this information, sometimes it's true, sometimes not. And this not helps to the family if they read the information that it's wrong. We need to take in account 2 things in this point. First is the source of the information. It's very important that this information has a quality level. This is the reason because in our hospital we publish information regarding disease, regarding the managing of the disease and other topics. And the other thing that it's important to take in account is that sometimes on internet there are also scarce information. We can find many information, but not for all. And in the case of the rare diseases, there are many diseases that are unknown for the clinicians and for the physicians. And this situation is perceived when you search information on the net. Another thing that the families do is go to Facebook, go to the social networks, because for the family, it's very important to try to connect with other patients, with other families, to share feelings, to share knowledge, to be together, because the families with a kid with a rare disease always feel very isolated, and this is an important suffering for the families. Social networks break the barriers, the geographical barriers, and helps to break the language barriers. And there are many communities on the network, on Facebook, where the families share without any problem information about the disease. This is a kind of collaboration of the people on the networks that we identify with the name collective intelligence. And this is the methodology we work on Rare Commons, with the collective intelligence methodology. Families, as I said, are on the net. Compared with the clinicians, sometimes they arrive late. And we need to take in account, and this is one of the things that we are working on Rare Commons, to involve also not the families, also the clinicians, because they need to be with the families. The next stop of this travel is the Rare Commons Paradise. Some of you know that probably I'm very metaphoric, and I try to make easy the explanation for all of you. And I choose this name because I think that for more families, Rare Common is like a paradise. It's like a desire, because they can connect with clinicians, with another families, in an environment that was designed for it. Facebook is not designed to collect information about rare diseases. Rare Commons, yes. Rare Commons has been designed for these goals. First of all, to share a personal experience of the families. Second, to know and increase the scientific knowledge of the disease, because we are collecting an important sample of data of the different patients. To create a significant sample of patients, because if you work only with the patients that you have in your hospital or in the hospitals of your country, this is not enough. And Rare Commons have an international tool, and also to promote another kind of research project. It's an open source project. It's open to other clinicians, to other hospitals, to other families. Two questions more for you. The first is, what do you think is the percentage of the rare diseases that have a solid scientific basis of knowledge? Scientific basis of knowledge means that there are enough medical literature to know about what is the cause of the disease and what are going to be the evolution of it. The first option is 10%, the second is 25%, the third is 16%, and the fourth is 18%. For the first option? Wow. Second? Little. Third option? Nobody? Wow. And the fourth? Nobody. It's the first. Only 10% of the rare diseases have enough medical literature. We have many work to do, because there are 90% of the probably 7,000 of diseases that we think are of rare diseases that need to increase the knowledge, that need any research project to know more about it. And the second question is, what is the percentage of patients with rare diseases that died during the first year of life? The first is 15, the second is 25, the third 35, and the fourth 15. What do you think for the first option? Only 2 for the second, 3 more, the 3, okay, and the fourth, okay, it's the third. 35% of the kids with a rare disease can be died in the first year of life. We need to take in account, because we don't have time to lose thinking when we can start a project, where are the families. We need to work together and start as soon as possible the research project that we can develop with the families and with another teams. For us, it's very important in Rare Commons to collect information to describe the natural story of the disease. The natural story of the disease is the evolution of the disease, since we know the cause of the disease and the evolution with any treatment. As I said, we have many, many diseases in the group of the rare diseases that don't have treatment, and we need to know what is the evolution. But in the case we can make a clinical trial, we need to compare if this trial, if this drug, it's positive for the disease, is not positive, or is negative. And this is the first step in every research related to rare diseases, to know the evolution of the disease with any treatment. And this is one of the goals of the Rare Commons platform. We started the project one year ago, and was not easy because this is a very innovative way to make research, and we have problems when we start, and we arrived to this stop that the name is Problems Corner, and we solve these problems. The first is that we don't have here in Spain a mandatory a mandatory register of patients. When some physician or some family has a kid with a rare disease, they are free to register or not. This is a huge barrier for us because we don't have one place to collect the patients to start a project. Sometimes the patients' associations have a number bigger of patients than the national register. And this is the reason because we work very close with the patients' associations. They know a real number of patients that can be in a country. The second problem that we had was the privacy and the security of the data, because as you know, for example, in Facebook or in other public networks, you can share information, but the owner of this data are the enterprise that are behind of these networks. Rare Commons, it's a platform designed for our hospital, and we are the owner of this data, and we have a computer that every hour make a security copy of the information to guarantee that any data is going to be lost. The third problem that we solve, sorry, because I have the need to work with the families and the clinicians in a private network. Every community of research on Rare Commons to be accessible for the families needs a user and a password. Anybody can access if they have this information. It's a private network, and we have communities for diseases, for families, and on the other side, communities for diseases for the clinicians. They work separately to guarantee the maximum collaboration without any interruption between them. And the last problem that we solve is the problem related to the use of different languages. If we only work in Spanish, we can achieve patients from Spain, from South America, and from people of our country that live abroad. But it's important to use English because it's the language of the science, and we can reach patients from other countries. And in some of the other research projects, we also work in Italian and Portuguese and French with the support of these international patients associations. What is the goal or the methodology of Rare Commons? It's very easy. It's not complicated. The first step is share scientific chapters to the family. These chapters are written for the clinicians of our hospital with a very easy language, because clinicians speak sometimes a language that is not easy for the people that don't have this kind of background. The information is illustrated with pictures, with schemes, with video. We have a glossary to help to understand the information to the families. And when a family reads this scientific chapter, at the end, they can access to complete a related survey. We teach, we empower the families, for example, in the neurology affectation of the disease, in the genetics, and so on. And finally, when they read this chapter, they can complete the survey that helps to us collect the clinical data. And at the end, when they complete this kind of survey, they can access to a little statistical summary with the information that we collect with the other families that collaborate before them. This is an example, for example, of the genetic affectations of kids with Low syndrome. That is one of the research projects that are ongoing in the platform. And we share to the family the draft of the gene with the different exons and the different kind of mutations that we know. In this case, for example, with this kind of survey, we know that 90% of the patients have a different mutation. And this is very important to teach the families if it's possible a genetic therapeutic option or not. Regarding to Lowe syndrome, only to introduce this disease, is a disease that is caused by a mutation in the gene OCRL1. It causes cataracts in the both eyes at the same moment of the birth. Sometimes in the echographies we can detect that the kid has this kind of defect. Also, they have a very complex neurological problem, epileptic seizures, behavior problems, and also they have affectation in their kidneys. They lose important substances for the life that need to be complemented with treatment. These are the preliminary outcomes that we reached with the Lowe syndrome project. As I said, the 95% of patients have a different mutations. 50% of the children with epilepsy needs more than one drug to control this situation, and sometimes it's a daily problem. No side effects related to the administration of the growth hormone. These kids has a problem and they don't grow as the normal curve of growth. And in Spain, it's not easy to reach this treatment. And with the project, we can start the treatment with kids, and they grow as the normal curve. The risk of hemorrhage, we detect that it's very common with these patients, and if we know this problem and we treat, we prevent many complications in the surgeries. And also the renal problems that were identified in the medical literature that was published previous of our project speak about that we are very complicated, and it's not the first problem of the disease. The first problem is the neurological aspect. This is one of the results of the research project. We wrote a guide for the families with all the information that we collect with them. Here there are the chapters that are on the Rare Commons project and all the resources that we collect with the service for the families. This guide was paid by Pfizer because this project, Rare Commons, is funded all for the families and for the crowdfunding campaigns. We only have a little grant of La Caixa, the owner of this auditorium, but this is not enough for this project. And the families help us to reach the money, and also laboratories and another kind of associations help us to other steps. And this guide, with the support of Pfizer, was published in Spanish, in Italian, and in French. And the families can take this guide and go to the different physicians that they have, sometimes 8 or more, and they can know all the different affectations of the disease, not the affectation related only to their specialty. And this is a very nice tool for the families. Another project that are ongoing in Rare Commons is a project related to the CDG syndrome. CDG is a collection of more than 100 rare diseases that are caused by a problem in the glycosylation of the cells. The symptoms of this disease are hypotonia, seizures, developmental disability, abnormal fat distribution, and other. It's a very complex disease. What are the preliminary results that we reached with this project? We study that the cerebellum is the main structure in the neurological system that is affected for the disease. The usual findings that we find in the electrocardiography often not generate a clinical implications. And finally, we find a correlation between the volume of the cerebellum and the cognitive functions of the children. And this is very important to prepare the families for the future. Also, we have ongoing another project. This is more new than the 2 others. We are studying 5 inherited retinal dystrophies. Here there are the list: Stargardt disease, dystrophy of cones. This is this kind of disease that has a very low prevalence for this project, for Rare Commons. At a priority study the ultra-rare disease, because we try to help to the diseases that have a very little number of patients. And with this project, we are studying different aspects, the treatments that the patients are receiving, the genetic problems, and so on. We are going to start in the next months a new research project about juvenile dermatomyositis. This is a disease that affects the muscles, the blood vessels, and the skin. It affects also on adult people, but when it affects a people that has less than 16 years old, receives the name of juvenile dermatomyositis. This is an autoimmune disease, and we are going to make different things with the project. One is create a national register of patients, because as I said, here in Spain, it's not mandatory, the register, and to promote another project, it's important. We are going to collect clinical data about the disease to know the natural story, as I explained before. And we are going to create a biobank to study and to promote the basic research related to this project in the biobank of our hospital that you visited yesterday. Another project that we are going to start at the end of this year is about osteogenesis imperfecta, the brittle bone disease. We are going to study the correlation between the genotype and the phenotype of the disease. This is a group of disease. More of the disease are caused by mutations in one common gene, but there are another, and we are finding news. And it's important to describe the causes and the data related to this. The next stop of this travel is the stop related to clinical trials. For us, it's very important that Rare Commons help to promote a very exhaustive clinical data register that helps us to recruit patients for the clinical trials, and is one of the other goals of the project. Also, Rare Commons has another resources open for the other families, because as I explained, we have at this moment 4 projects ongoing, two new to start, but there are many families that don't have information about the disease. So there are families that don't know what is the clinical research on rare diseases, and we share in the open phase of the platform tips and news. We have social media to spread the word about events and information that will be interesting for the families, and also we are making connections with the families. There are families that contact with us and say, I think that I'm the only one family in Spain with a kid with this disease. Can you help to reach another families? And with the social networks, we are creating little networks of families that they are together starting an association or sharing experience and feelings that it's very important for them. Also, this is another aim that we are working with the social networks of Rare Commons that are Facebook and Twitter. Okay. The reason for our work, finally, I think that it's the quality of life of the patients and the families. Sometimes the research needs more years, and we know that probably we are not arrived on time for all the families that are currently involved in the project, but perhaps we can improve their quality of life. And for us, it's very important work for the happiness of the children. This is Miguel. Miguel celebrated yesterday his 5 years anniversary, 5 years birthday. It's a kid with CDG syndrome. We work for the smile of the kids. This is Anna, a patient with dermatomyositis that is in the day hospital very frequently for the treatment. And also we work for a better future for these kids and these families. This is Ignacio, a patient with a low syndrome. And only a little summarize that I want to comment is that behind every rare disease, there are tens, hundreds, thousands, and millions of people. Behind every picture, there are a family suffering, and we need to take into account this. I think that we need to involve the YPAC to improve the quality of our clinical research project. And all of you are welcome to help in the Rare Commons project. Together we can, and together with iCAN. This is the message of the end of my presentation. And this is the people that are involved in the project. Thank you.